Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds, hanging out with this nerd.
Nerdarchy's Ted.
And today we're delving back into Stranger Things as we D&Dize Sheriff Hopper.
Jump down the description below where you can sign up for Nerdarchy the newsletter, get weekly gaming tips, as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
So in honor of having David Harbour on the show recently, we want to, actually for us right now, it is last night, literally. So I'm still a little bit on my first celebrity interview high. We want to D&Dize Sheriff Hopper from Stranger Things. It's just a matter of time before we get our second season of Stranger Things. I believe it's coming out October 1st, Halloween.
Nice.
Which is going to be really cool.
October 1st is not Halloween, though.
Did I say? I meant 31st. October 31st. I believe. I could be wrong. I saw that that date bandied about. David was on for like 45 minutes, and we were reminiscing over old D&D campaigns, talking Dungeons and Dragons. Stranger Things came up a little bit as well, and I was like, you know what, we do this thing where we D&Dize characters, and he's like, oh, I'd so like to see Sheriff Hopper D&Dize. I hope he's got good stats.
He's like, I want to know what his hit points are.
Yeah. So
hit points was a big thing for him for that interview.
Well, yeah, it was from because he came from like D&D where where mages didn't have very many hit points.
Yeah, I gotta put a correction on that. The Steve's Necromancer of Doom was 7th level with 15 hit points.
Oh, right, my bad.
Not 4th.
So there was more Doom, less hit points.
All right, so Sheriff Hopper, I know everybody's probably have different ideas of what he would do or be or what have you, but I think there's no arguing that he's human.
Yeah, we could definitely go with human.
So then we'd have to look at background.
So there's a couple backgrounds that I think are kind of appropriate.
All right.
Now, if you go into the Skag, there's like a watch one, right? Which obviously he's a sheriff, he's a cop, essentially. That pretty much works.
Do we know what he was before he was a cop, though?
Because I don't think so. I don't think it ever really delves into it before that.
But like we know that there was some bad stuff that happened in his past. Spoilers. Daughter died. Technically, I see being a cop, like that's his class. So, like, how do we choose what he was before that if we don't know what he was before that?
Well, so for class, like we're going to actually go with one of the D&D classes. So
right.
We could say we can marry that to his background. That's why I say watch would definitely work.
Mm-hmm.
But could he also possibly be a folk hero?
I think that could totally work. I mean,
it depends on where you're looking at it too. Like by the end of the story, he's a folk hero.
Right.
That being said, is he already got his first level as an adventurer? Which in that case,
well, you can acquire the background features through gameplay. I mean, you've done it in your game.
Not necessarily by roll, but you could. Yeah. So we have to decide, though. I think we do have to pick a background. We have to give him something.
Well, he clearly did something enough to become sheriff.
Yes.
So
watch. Go with the watch.
We can go with the watch, which gives him the clout of I've been doing this already.
So City Watch is definitely in the Skag, and I'm thinking there's a variant for investigator, and I think a sheriff is probably going to be more like that. They're probably forced to wear more hats on the job.
I would agree.
Than
I think you actually
beat cop.
Like you're not going to go right from City Watch to sheriff. Like you're going to climb that ladder first. So he probably started out as a beat cop, then moved.
No, deputy. Because see, a sheriff is a completely different thing. It's not like some areas have sheriffs instead of cops, instead of police officers. It's a little bit different. But yeah, so we're going to go with the variant investigator because it also gives him investigation, which he clearly uses. I think he uses that skill in the show.
He's deductive.
And it replaces athletics, and he'll also get insight. So and he uses that as well. So, but we can get athletics just from being from our class more than likely. I think, without a doubt. Maybe we'll circle back. I don't think he's really a high level character though.
I think he'll be a little sad about that.
He might be level 3 tops, but in 5th edition that gives you a decent amount of hit points, man. You'll be all right.
I was thinking 3 to 4.
Yeah,
nothing higher than that.
So we'll go with 3 just to get to an archetype.
All right.
Okay. So investigator from City Watch from this book. He's human. What class do you want to go? Because I think we're going to go different opinions here.
We are. I was thinking rogue.
You were thinking rogue.
Because I say, like, to be a good investigator, you really are going to need expertise, and you don't get to the top. And clearly, he walks around. Oh, hey, Sheriff Hopper. Hey, Sheriff Hopper. Everybody knows him. He's the guy in charge. That's my viewpoint from watching this show. So therefore, clearly, he's the top of the police food chain in that town, and in order to do that, you got to be the best. So he's going to have his expertise certainly in investigation, possibly also in insight.
Okay, so you feel like he's really skill based. I don't. I think he's kind of brutish and a little bit thuggish.
Okay.
And kind of a regular guy. And if he had taken care of himself, I feel like he would have a lot more physicality. But because he's an alcoholic, he smokes. Like it starts off, he's rolling out of bed and drinking. Like literally, he is not taking care of himself. Yet he's still pretty fit.
Mm-hmm.
So I was actually gonna go fighter champion.
Okay.
Because rogue archetype, what would you do for the archetype too?
He's
not doing second story work.
that was a challenge that I thought about, and he's not a mastermind. He's not a thief, an assassin, or a arcane trickster,
or even the spy variant. Like none of those really fit,
right?
In my opinion.
So I was thinking that okay, well, if we wanted to multi-class a little bit. I think if we're sticking to third level, I could do a level, do 2 levels of rogue and a level of fighter, or to really get into the craziness and he's gonna tap into.
But he doesn't do anything roguelike. He doesn't use stealth. You could call his sucker punches a sneak attack maybe, but
I could totally see that.
But I was going to double back and say he's got Tavern Brawler as a feat.
That you guys talked about that on the actual interview, and I was totally on board right from the moment you said it. I actually think I was calling it out, listening to it at home. Like, yeah, that's what it is.
So, all right, well, in Ted's version, he's a rogue. In my version, he's just a straight up fighter with champion, and that's why it hits hard because he crits a lot. Yeah, and also like there's the physical abilities that a champion kind of gets as you go up as well. I like those aspects. And actually, I think the title of champion actually fits him. I think he's kind of a fallen champion, and he's at the end of Stranger Things. He's kind of like building back his redemption story, and he's gonna climb out of the hole. So we have one version where there's some rogue levels, and we have one version where he's just a straight fighter. He's definitely human. We both agree on Tavern Brawler. Like his skills are His skills, as I see them, are athletics, insight, investigation.
And he get one more.
He would technically get 2 more.
Oh yes, one from being human and a second from fighter.
Yes. He's got, I would say, land vehicles, just because I think like pretty much everyone has, kind of has that.
Right.
And then it would be one more.
Well, I think he would probably trade in one of his languages from City Watch to get the land vehicles.
Well, yeah, you could definitely trade in those. So he might have that, and then then the other one, because there's not like a whole lot. I think intimidation.
Yes. Yeah.
It would definitely be one. I don't think he doesn't have deception. He's not deceptive. That wasn't his thing. I don't think he's persuasive.
No, I think he might have a decent charisma. As people get along well with him, but I don't think
he's kind of likable.
He's not skilled in trying to manipulate people.
Yeah, there's no acrobatics going on.
No.
He might have like knowledge, history, or nature. Being from a rural town community. So maybe I might go there with it, but pretty much. So what do we got then? That brings us insight, investigation, intimidate, athletics,
and knowledge nature.
That gives us 5. And then we're gonna give him some tool proficiencies, which one being land vehicles, and I don't know what the other one would be, but maybe we'll figure that out when. He might it might be something having to do with firearms and guns, because he's definitely proficient with them. He definitely knows how to use them So there would also be with that, like knowing how to clean them, and
Right.
who knows where else you could go with that. We only have one season, so maybe we'll get some more.
And we also have like very very limited knowledge rules on firearms in fifth edition. So
Yes.
it's really hard to be like, oh well, how do we do this? Well, let's look at that small little paragraph in the DMG.
So now let's go with stats. So if we
All
do
right.
the standard array,
All right, so we do the standard array. We're gonna bump our 15 to a 16 and our 13 to a 14. So we got a 16, two 14s, and then 12, 10, 8. So I'm kind of gonna look at how he reacts to things going on, and I want to put his 16 in Constitution.
I do as well.
All right.
I think he's kind of run down from life and beat up, but he's still going and still kind of hardy.
And the fact that if he starts his day with a cigarette and alcohol and still manages to
keep going,
to do everything he's doing, he's got the ability to absorb that stuff. So then I want to put his 14, one of his 14s into strength.
I would go there as well.
It not only does it fit the fighter archetype, but he's jacked.
Yeah, he's definitely got that. He's got that farm boy strength going on, that natural physical prowess.
So now,
I'm gonna buck the system here a little bit.
You're gonna buck the system.
I'm gonna throw out the 8 and make it a 10, and put it in Dex.
Okay, so
he's not clumsy. He's not exceptionally agile either.
All right. So, as I said earlier, I think he's charismatic. So, do we want to put the 12 or the 14 in the charisma?
I was thinking 14 in charisma, to be honest.
That's where I was going as well.
He's kind of like a dick, but people still like him anyway. In some ways, like he doesn't try to be, but he just can't help himself.
All right. So far we've got 14, 10, 16, and we got a
12 and a 10.
Okay, so we're getting rid of the 8 entirely and replacing it with another 10?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we've got a 12 and a 10 to play with for wisdom and intelligence. I think wisdom is more insight. Intelligence is more investigation. So he uses both of them.
He uses them both pretty well. I'm gonna go with he meddles with things he shouldn't, maybe. Which causes problems for him and puts him in danger, and others as well. So I'm gonna say wisdom's the low score of 10.
Okay.
And 12 intelligence, and he does really good at he does a good job at piecing all the parts together, and I think and also I want to say he's a little bit of a dickish and standoffish to people, not intentionally, but I think that's because he reads people wrong. Like I'm going to point to one specific example.
Yeah, go for it.
Was it a librarian that he went on the date with, and then he's like, he kind of stiffed her later, like he didn't like follow up or whatever, and it wasn't even like it didn't even come across well. I wasn't into you, or I didn't like it. I just do what I do, and move on, kind of deal. Like oblivious. He seemed more oblivious about what he did wrong than it was like intent.
All right,
in my opinion.
So 3rd level fighter has 10 for 10, max for 1st level. You get 6 per level for 2nd and 3rd. So that's 28 plus 3 times Constitution. So that's not another 9. So he's got 37 hit points.
37 hit points.
Will that make David happy?
I don't know. Well, David, you have to tweet us whether that'll make you happy or not. But yeah, so
he specifically wanted to know how many hit points he would have.
Yeah, it was definitely a burning thing. If we went to 4th level, we could literally give him either the toughness feat or bump his con again.
Either one would have at this low level kind of around the same
effect. Yeah,
right.
It's either 8 more hit points or 4 more hit points, but the extra con for that drinking and smoking would probably be helpful. So I think that's where we go with if we took him the 4th level.
Right.
What do you guys think? Did we nail Sheriff Hopper? Did we get it right? Is David going to be happy with us or not? Let us know in the comments below. While you're at it, like, share, and subscribe.
You can check us out over on nerdarchy.com.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.